Every time I see the little blue boost button, I'm like, yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? You'd like
I see
that.
what you're doing. I see what you're
Yeah.
doing.
It's that little attractive sky blue, beautiful,
Like,
gorgeous,
come
sexy
on,
button.
boost
Like
me, boost me.
just a
No,
boost.
I'm not
Like,
touching you. I'm not touching you.
no,
Stop and don't spend another single cent on advertising until you listen to this. I'm Marianne Amies. This is Ready, Set, Paid Ads, digital marketing for paid ad success. Let's go. In today's episode, I'm joined by Whitney Keir from Lava Virtual, and we launch into the conversation of Do You Ads, drawing on Whitney's experience as a business owner who has played around in Facebook ads and really built up her expertise and knowledge by getting in there and having a go. She talks about lead generation ads, and we talk about the power of lead magnets and how it can be a really great way to build your list and use your meta ads to actually list build and protect yourself from platform changes and platform sensitivity with that ability to nurture your leads ongoing once they're in your email list. Whitney has some great insights and a really great approach to just having to go, learning, and being structured about that learning, really committing to yourself on that time that it takes to, learn to master a new skill. We also talk about boosting posts and that awful Apple surcharge. So it's a great chat for any business owner that's thinking about dipping their toe in the water, and especially if you're a service-based business. Welcome to another episode of Ready, Set, Paid Ads. I'm excited today to be joined by Whitney from Lava Virtual. How are you going, Whitney?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. To kick off, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. So
Pleasure.
my name is Whitney Keir, and I am the founder of Lava Virtual, and I'm an operations strategist.
Oh,
So,
amazing.
yeah. So what we do is we come into people's businesses and support them when they have operational issues that are coming up. It could be anything from a business owner who has bought into an existing
Mm.
business, or they have inherited a business from a family member and they are having issues that they don't know where to begin. So a lot of the time they're extremely busy. So they need an extra pair of hands to come in from an outsider's perspective and help them sort that stuff out.
I love that. I think it's so necessary. I mean, obviously, as somebody who runs a marketing business, we see that side where people are too overwhelmed for their marketing. But, I think that operational side, it's almost all those jobs that you do that you don't realize you shouldn't be doing. And they take up so much of your brain capacity as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what I find as well. Like if you think you don't have an operations problem, but your business isn't running smoothly, I hate to be the bad bearer of news, but you probably do.
And if it all rests on one person's shoulders, I think a lot of us, I know myself, I'm still so guilty of it. Like I do a lot of the small tasks that keep the business running. But really, there's risk in that of one person being responsible for so many of the linchpins to the business.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, like what happens if you can't work for some
Mm.
reason? Or what happens if you need to take some unexpected time off? What
Yeah.
happens if you want to take some time off? Like, God forbid you should like be able to take a holiday, a couple of weeks off. Like,
Yeah.
you deserve that too, just because you run a business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's awesome. Yeah, well, I had a new girl start recently, and then I was on some leave, and she said, I feel so bad for, messaging you when you're on leave. And I said, oh, unfortunately, you'll learn that I'm not often on leave. I'm always kind of, 10% still switched on. And that's something I need to work on after 15 years of working in this way. Always room for growth. But yeah, I think I do know the power of a well-oiled machine that doesn't rely on one person. So I think, yeah, the more people you can help, fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. I've found that from working with a few businesses over the last couple of years that, a lot of particularly solopreneur businesses start off with one person. And even though they're bringing in contractors, the general operations of their business still relies on them.
Mm.
And that's great. And even if you don't have a goal to become this massive, multi-billion-dollar company, we didn't start our businesses to be slaves to them and to give
Yeah.
ourselves another 9 to 5. So I guess my passion is to come into your business and say, okay, what can we be doing differently
Yeah.
to give you back some more time, give you back some better quality time? And, who do we need to bring in? Who do we need to engage? Is it a marketing team? Is it a whole operations team? Is it an admin team? Client services, whatever it might be. And then it's my sort of job, if you want to call it that, to go out and help you find those people and cut through all the clutter and find the right people as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I know you've been running your business for a few years now, and I know that last year especially you went through quite a big growth stage.
Yeah.
So today what I'd love to ask you and have a chat about is, do you ads?
I do. I do ads. I started out with no idea what an ad was,
Yeah.
which is crazy because I'm an avid social media user in my free time, which like probably not even in my free time, in all my time. And like most people on the
Yeah.
scroll. And initially I had no idea, like even sometimes when I was looking at an ad, but then I very quickly came to realize that without ads, my business wasn't going to grow in the way that I wanted it to grow.
Yeah.
I think my email list started out as, I think, about 15 people, and they were either people that I had discovery calls with who didn't hire me,
Yeah.
who I wasn't the right person for them, or even just like not friends, but like acquaintances that I knew
Yeah.
had businesses.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, my email list is not a massive list yet, but
Yeah.
I would say about 70% of the list is from ads.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And so I guess tell me about the sorts of ads that you've run for your business. What has that looked like for you?
Oh, look, I'm really dabbling still. My ads mainly focus on lead magnet ads.
Yeah.
So I've written countless guides
Fantastic.
and tools and cheat sheets and things just generally for my business and for my clients and to benefit other people in my industry. And then I thought, I could probably use some of these as a lead magnet. So, so I've run a couple of ads with guides, mainly guides for helping people, get their daily, weekly accountability actions going and things like that,
Yeah.
tech tools, and then, run the ads through Meta to capture email addresses for my mailing list.
That's fantastic. I think lead generation is one of my favorite types of ads because there's a real like give get, and that money that you're spending, I think every business benefits from general awareness ads, but what is awareness and how long do you need to be at awareness for then someone to want to convert? And what I think is great about lead generation is you have a budget that you're spending, but you're seeing a tangible result. And in, I guess, service-based businesses like you and I have, you don't have that e-com product to sell. You don't have the candles or the flowers or the shoes where you're like, I spent $50 and I returned $500. It's not as simple as A plus B, and your decision-making process is so long. Someone's not necessarily going to see that ad of yours and then book you for extended services off the cuff. But lead generation is amazing because you purchase that contact detail essentially, but you've also given them something in that transaction where all of a sudden they're learning about who you are. It sounds like you've got that innate understanding of your target market. So you're like solving a bit of their problem or helping them see that they have more of a problem than they realize. You're setting that scene to be that expert with them and to be able to then have a longer conversation and start to like nurture them as well. So I think it's the perfect ad type for your business. Have you had any great success stories through it where you've done a lead magnet and then you've had that phone call or that contact and been able to really nurture a relationship?
I think from my experience, when I started my business, some of the most amazing resources that helped me get started were actually lead magnets.
Yeah, fantastic.
And my current business coach, I actually found her through her lead magnet 2.5 years ago. So that's the sort of lead time that in my mind, in my industry, that's sort of what I'm aiming for. It's a long game. I guess probably one of my favorite stories is around it's kind of a strange story because I joined a networking group,
Yeah.
and it's one of those groups where everyone hands out their business cards.
Yeah.
And so I got all these business cards and I had a few chats with people, and I thought to myself, because I love to give people things, and that's why I love doing lead magnets, because I
Yeah.
think that not everybody's in a position to buy, and they
Yeah.
shouldn't be disadvantaged because of their financial position. So
Yeah.
I love to give as much as I can give them that is really like literally no cost to me, to give out
Yeah.
a guide or a tool or something like that. And so I created a segment in my email marketing tool of
Yeah.
just these people that are giving me their cards. And I sent them a lead magnet and I said, look, I haven't added you to my subscriber list because we haven't had that conversation. But if you would like to be, reply back and I'll add you. But I hope that you find this tool useful. This is just like an example of things that I do. Every single person unsubscribed. And I thought,
Ah.
oh my God. I thought, oh my God, I'm in the wrong group. But it turned
Yeah.
out it was a glitch in
Ah.
my system. Like,
Oh,
but
no.
the point of it, what ended up happening is when I brought it up with the kind of the organizer of the group, I said, look, I'm not really sure what's happened, but surely not every single person in this group has unsubscribed. But I'm a bit confused because I gave them something really
Yeah.
useful.
Yeah.
But ultimately, that group has now turned into a couple of clients. So,
Oh, wow.
which is really cool. So,
Good turnaround.
I guess from me being able to have that lead magnet,
Yeah.
creating, like sending out that I had created as an ad
Yeah.
initially, and then I was able to repurpose that, and then it turned into business, which is really exciting. So yeah, it's a bit of a roundabout story, but
No,
that's
I love it. I
yeah,
love it. But yeah, and I mean that's a great point with lead magnets as well, is how else can you use them? And often people have them on their websites, which is great. And I do think that's where the power of the ads come in as well, because the ads, I guess, help accelerate that discovery. And, having great lead magnets and even developing the time that goes into developing great lead magnets, you want them to get out to as many people as possible. And as you said, from that giving place as well. So I think the ads accelerate that, but then looking for other opportunities. And I think that's a really great point. We do meet lots of people at networking events, and sometimes don't really know what to do afterwards.
yeah.
You have the email, you have the business card, and you sort of like, okay, that was nice. I'll follow them on social media. But I think, yeah, coming from that perspective of offering them, this is free stuff I give to other people. Like, why wouldn't I give it to you in this situation? I think that's a great approach as well.
Yeah, I mean, everyone loves a freebie for starters, especially if you get it and it's really useful.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually shocking how many great lead mags are out there that
Hmm.
I've found through ads that other
Yeah.
people have run. And it's not only built my awareness of their business, but it's also allowed me to do some really cool things in my
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just think if I can have that effect, like,
Oh,
brilliant if they turn into
absolutely.
a client, but like, it's really cool to see, like, 2, 3 years down the track, somebody who's downloaded something of mine is
Yeah.
now shooting off into the stars with their business. It's really, really rewarding from that
Yeah.
perspective.
It's fascinating to watch as well. Like sometimes you'll see someone download the first thing, maybe it's from an ad, and then they get to your website and they download a couple of other things. And then maybe like we've got some low cost resources, they might buy a resource or two. And then it's, yeah, a couple of months later, they book in to have that conversation. And, I think you've given value, you've demonstrated your expertise, you've warmed them. And it's easier because I guess your industry, my industry, there's such a massive trust factor. And it's so hard for people to know who to trust. And,
Yeah.
is this person going to do what they say? Yes, they look great on social media, but what is it like to work with them? And there's so much anxiety and sometimes rightly so about you're investing this money with someone. Are they going to deliver? And I think what those lead magnets and those low cost products do is they let somebody experience you in a really safe way.
Yeah, I completely agree. And you can't always guarantee how an ad is going to turn out, whether it's going
Yes.
to reach the right people. I mean, I've had some wild, like, I got I think it was like 50 leads from one ad that I ran in a week.
Yeah.
Not one person has walked in from Mail contacted me. Like, I don't even know why they all downloaded it,
Yes.
because I was
Yeah.
like, okay, but I've learned a lot of, I guess, valuable lessons from just trying different things and trying to educate myself as well, because, I do my own ads and my own marketing. And
Mm.
eventually I would love to get to a point where I can employ someone else or
Yeah.
bring on someone else, but I still want to be in a position where I understand what they're talking about
Yeah.
before I make that investment, because it's not just like in my business, there's a bit of a misconception that you just hire someone to fix all your problems. They come in like a magical fairy. They just know everything. They're perfect at everything. And then they're just going to magically wave a wand and you don't have to do any legwork or
Yeah.
anything. But that's not the case. And I guess when it comes to like advertising and marketing, it's the same story. Like, you can hire an agency or you can hire a freelancer to do a content strategy or set your ads up or whatever it might be. But if they're sending you reports and you don't speak the
Yeah.
language and you've got no idea what they're talking about, you're kind of putting yourself at risk in that
Yeah.
respect. Yeah.
No, that is such a fantastic point. And I know from our side, working with somebody that understands a little bit, at least, about the
Mm.
data, about what's going on, and invest that time into reading the report and asking questions, that they have such a more valuable and rich experience than people that either don't understand or don't want to know. Like, we have clients where it's just kind of like, you guys manage it, tickets done. Like you said, magical fairy, tickets done. And if they're getting the results, they're happy. And if they're not, they kind of just leave. But they're not engaging in those conversations. Like, you'd be amazed how many reports we send out that we get no reply to. No reply. Not a
Wow.
question. And we say in our report, like, especially if it's leads, how was the quality? Like, we generated 42 leads this month. What was the quality like? What was the conversion like? Is it meeting your needs? We get people that just don't reply. Because it's just like, well, tick. Either tick we're happy or tick we're not. You don't know. Whereas people that ask the questions, oh, why do you think that graphic worked better? Or, I read the report and I can see the videos are working. Should I create more videos for you? Or do you need something else? Or understanding what is going to make it a mutually successful engagement as well, is so important. And arming yourself. I run a workshop where I literally just go through Ads Manager as a platform, understanding campaign, ad set, ads, the structure, how it works, the objectives, the top line audience stuff, the top line creating an ad stuff, changing the date to see results, what all the results mean. Because just that basic level, you don't even have to physically create an ad, but just that basic level of being able to get in there, walk around in it is
Yeah.
so empowering for you as a business owner as well.
I agree. And, I wouldn't say I'm an expert at, creating ads or anything like that, but I can at least log into Ads Manager and have a
Yes.
look at it. I
Yeah.
know where to find my leads. I know where to
Yeah.
see the conversion rate or what the click-through rate is and things like that. And
Yeah.
whilst I'm still learning, at least like taking the time and the effort to learn a bit, do some workshops, read some books, read some articles, whatever it might be,
Yeah.
watch some YouTube and
Yeah.
just get some level of familiarity around like what you're actually spending money on
Yeah.
is so important. And sometimes you create something like in no different to social media and it doesn't slap and nothing happens with it.
Yeah.
Other times you make something and you're like,
What is
wow, I
this?
can't believe that like it popped off. Like what
What
on
did I
earth?
do?
I know. I've created like these great, like informative carousels
Yeah.
and whatever with like crazy good information. And it's got like 3 likes on it. And then I put up a reel of me lifting like weights at the gym and basically saying I don't like crap clients.
And everyone loves
And
it.
people are like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Oh,
So
100%. And that's that
crazy.
testing and learning. And I think that kind of mindset and attitude of being a lifelong learner is so important when you're a business owner and in all the
Yeah.
aspects of business ownership. Like, whatever you're testing, you're learning from. And so there's kind of like, there's not failure, there's just information. And I think if you
Mm,
go into it thinking, whatever happens in that ad, I'm going to learn something. If it costs me
yeah.
$20 to learn the lesson that this graphic brings in really shit clients because they think it's about something else, that's just $20. And when
Yeah.
I think about what 10, 15 years ago, the way we had to market to our potential clients, there was no $20 marketing strategy. There was nothing we could have done where we just used $100 and we got seen by 1,000 people. That just didn't exist. So,
Yeah.
I think for small business owners, we have this really affordable marketplace to get in front of exactly who we want to do business with, and then learn if we're saying the right things, doing the right things, have the right offer. And I think when you take that approach, then, again, exactly what you're saying, getting in there, having a go, playing with it, feeling it out, like it's literally the best thing you can do for your business.
Yeah. And I think for me, like initially, the hesitation with running ads was like anything, it's a financial cost.
Mm.
And when you're starting a business on a shoestring budget, the thought of spending $100 on, say, ads
Mm.
and it goes nowhere
Yeah.
feels really scary.
Yeah.
But once you realize, in particular, social media is pay to play, these platforms don't want your content on there unless you're going to pay for it to be on there. It's no
Yeah.
different to like, you can't just slip a flyer inside the Daily Telegraph and it's going to, secretly go out to
Yeah.
100 million people. Like you have to pay to be in that
Yeah.
publication. You have to pay to be on social media. Like, yeah, you can create organic content, but the likelihood that it's going to be seen by the people that you actually want in your world and in
Yeah.
your business is so low. Yeah. So I think, yeah, you really got to you've got to go first in that
Yeah.
sense. You've got to be brave, find some information that makes sense to you in terms of like your level of knowledge and understanding, and really invest some time. I mean, I've set myself up with because I love a good system, but I've actually got a CPD calendar that I work to. So for me
Amazing.
personally, I have basically like each month I have like something that I want to learn, or like
Yeah.
maybe it's a book that I've bought that I want to like read and implement. So like,
Yeah.
January I'm doing Profit First by Mike Michalowicz.
Yeah.
He's
Love
amazing.
that
And
book.
I've had
Yeah.
that book for ages and I've just not done anything with it. So
Yeah.
I was like, fine. And then next month is an SEO course that I'm
Yeah.
doing. And then the following month, I'm actually reading a book around like a communication language and writing and,
Yeah.
messaging.
Yeah.
So when it comes to ads, like it might seem overwhelming, but if you just pick a couple of things and go, okay, I'm going to commit to reading this for this month and I'm going
Yeah.
to learn a couple of things about it so that I can familiarize myself with
Yeah.
it. That's a good way to start if you really don't know
Yeah, I think
honestly,
that's
where even to
fantastic.
start, or even like no budget
Yeah.
whatsoever. Like, yeah.
I think that's fantastic. And I think having the bravery to commit to Ads Manager. I think a lot of people spend time boosting posts because it's really safe and easy,
Yeah.
but they don't, they almost burn themselves in boosting and then use that as their learning that ads don't work. And those little $10 and $20 at a time don't seem like anything, but that money could be so much better spent in a campaign that has a clear objective and is set up to succeed against that objective that you want. And I think people find Ads Manager so overwhelming, and it is. It is, and it's always changing, which makes it even more of a piece of shit. But to your point, watch the YouTube video, read the article, stick with it. And we all know that we can do the hard things. We just need to put the time in. And I think, as you said, have a really structured plan about it. If you commit yourself to half an hour a week of going in there, feeling it out, testing something, trying to build something, watching a video, those sorts of things, just that time and money is so much better spent in Ads Manager than it is on boosting posts.
Yeah. And not to mention that they've changed the cost of boosting posts now, and it costs you more to put it through.
I know, that bloody Apple thing. I know. I did a video on that. I think the Apple surcharge is utter bullshit. And
that's ridiculous, isn't
yeah,
it?
I mean, I do boost certain things at certain times in a strategic way. And I think because I understand what I'm doing in the boost and why and what I'm expecting back from it. And now I don't, because I'm not going to be slugged with a $10 or $11 fee just for the privilege of doing it on my phone. So for me, it's made me boost less things. and not bother to go into ads, like I'm spending less on the platform because of it, because it's, I
Yeah.
think it's a very, very interesting, don't know how we got there. Don't know how we got there between Meta and Apple that is possible.
Every time I see the little blue boost button, I'm like, yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? You'd like
I see
that.
what you're doing. I see what you're
Yeah.
doing.
It's that little attractive sky blue, beautiful, gorgeous,
Come
sexy
on,
button.
boost
Like,
me, boost me.
just a
No,
boost.
I'm not
Like,
touching you. I'm not touching you.
no, no.
Yeah, no, I think they've really stuffed that. So it'd be interesting to see if it lasts or
Yeah.
I always think of that. I don't think anything is forever in digital. So
No.
when something is so blatantly wrong, I expect it will course correct. Maybe that's my optimism. It's like the TikTok ban in America. My son was freaking out about TikTok being banned because his American friends are on there and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, mate, something's going to happen.
It'll
There's
be
no
back.
way. There's no
And
way.
it was,
Think about it. Think about if America does that, then their perception as the leader in the world, like all that sort of stuff, don't stress about it yet. Something's going to
that's
happen.
right.
I
And
feel
it was like
very
24
confident.
hours.
Oh
Like,
my
not
gosh,
even.
not even. Oh no, it's
12
over.
hours or
Oh no,
something.
we're back. So embarrassing.
No.
So embarrassing.
It's like when you do one of those team building exercises in your corporate job and then you got to build like a thing with straws and you got 5 people in the group and no one can build it. That's kind of what it like reminded me of. Like,
Yeah. Everyone's scrambling and nobody having any capability. Totally. So, I do always have that optimism that the decisions they make on platforms that aren't great, that they'll come back around. Because at the end of the day, they want the money. And if they realize, I'm sure in their little data nerd suite when they're like, oh my God, revenue from boosting is down 700%. Like, what are we going to do? They will solve it. They'll have to
yeah.
because the revenue hit they'd be having, be so many people resisting that now because of that.
Yeah.
And, massive, I would assume the majority of people have Apple, not Android. I
Yeah.
think it's like 70-30. So they'd be feeling that pinch for sure.
Yeah. And I think if you're going to use it as, like you say, as part of your overall strategy, and it's not just willy-nilly.
Yeah.
It's like anything in your business. Like you don't make decisions based on impulse. Like you don't go out and be like, you know what? I think I'll just buy a new laptop today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, no, you go, you research, you figure
Yeah.
out what specifics you need, like you figure out what power you need. Like you take time and you think about it because
so
it's an
true.
investment. And you don't just go out and hire a new person without thinking about, okay, what's their role going to look like? Or what are their key responsibilities going to be? Like, what are we going to tell them about the business, about how it runs? Who's going to train them? When's the best time for them to start? Like, it's when I'm running things like ads, to me, it's like no different of a decision about running ads. And I would honestly probably say like be more conservative rather than going off half cocked and just randomly setting something up. And, you can take my first ad as a cautionary tale where almost, as I said, almost every single person was not engaged. Like even though they were in a funnel and also I didn't get a single inquiry. I got plenty of hits on my little Wix notification to say that people from all over the world were jumping on my website and looking at my website. But again, nothing came from it because obviously my ad wasn't set up. Like, because I was just learning, like my ad wasn't set up correctly. It was targeting the wrong people. Maybe the message wasn't clear. I don't know. But I kind of just dived into it and gave it a red hot crack. And it only cost about, I think, $120. So it wasn't like crazy money. But I was like, okay, well, that bombed. But
that's not for me.
But at least I learned something.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't go out like boosting posts at a random or anything like that.
I think that's so
not
true.
Part of my strategy.
And I think that the boosting plays to our impulsivity, doesn't it? Like, here's a quick win. Here's a quick win. Just do this quickly.
It's like putting $1 in a pokie machine. Just as you walk through, like you're on your way to the bistro or whatever, and you just like stick $1 in, and it literally gets eaten up like immediately.
You're like, this could just be my one. I just might push that button once and be a millionaire. It is really, and I don't doubt that the psychology behind things like that is exactly based on the psychology they know works, gamifying things and knowing our human nature of a little bit of money. Oh, that's okay. It's just $5. It's just $10. And the
Yeah.
promise of an easy win. And it's the same psychology, exactly right, of the pokies near the toilets.
Yeah.
It's
I think,
like,
you got to think about these things logically. And I posted a reel yesterday that gained, I think it was like last time I checked, it was like 1,700 views, right?
wow.
Not one follower,
Yeah, I get
2
you.
saves. So
Yeah.
would I go boost that post?
Yeah.
It's just going to show it to more of the same not right people. Like,
Exactly right. Yeah, exactly right. Oh,
feels good to get that many views. I was
it
like, oh,
does.
amazing. This has never happened to
Yeah,
me before.
yeah.
But, would I turn that into an ad? Probably not, because it's
No.
not gotten me any inquiries. No one's
Yeah,
slid into my DMs. No one's asked me a question.
yeah,
The only other person who's commented on it is a friend from my industry.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, no, like use your logic, people.
And and actually use organic as your like tramping ground to work out what you should actually be supporting. I think is the
Yeah.
other point of that is learn from your organic and feel out exactly the messaging that talks to your ideal and new client.
Mm,
Or if you can't find them organically, test that through ads. But, I think that's such a good insight as well that the content is teaching you things all the time as well.
yeah, definitely.
Amazing. Well, I have really enjoyed this chat. I love
Mm.
hearing of people just giving it a go because I think that there's so much nervousness about ads manager platform, running ads for your business. And I know you've grown your business a lot in the last year as well. And do you see some of that as being from ads as well as networking and being consistent on socials?
Yeah, I do think it is, because I get people screenshotting my ads and sending them to me
Oh,
to say,
wow.
"Oh, this popped up in my feed today." Like, and
Amazing. Yeah.
over time, it's been I say slow increase. Like, I've had
Yeah.
a big increase in overall profit
Yeah.
for the year, which has been really nice. But
Fantastic.
in terms of like overall awareness of me, my business, people referring, I would say like around 50% of my current and past clients are from word of mouth referrals from past clients I've worked with. So not from my
Yeah,
friends
sure.
and family saying she's really a nice person. I'm not a nice person. I'm going to tell it to
No.
you straight. You're going to get loving firm accountability from me. But yeah, I would say that ads has definitely contributed, especially to my email list,
Mm,
because your platform can be taken away at any time. It can be literally just gone like
yeah,
that. And if you
100%.
don't have people's email addresses, your community's gone. So
Yeah,
that's something I've learnt and really put a lot of focus into the last year. So
yeah,
yeah, and then that's then allowed me to push out new offers to people and offer them special introductory offers and things
yeah.
like that that only come to my email list. So yeah, I think it's definitely a big part of the strategy going forward for sure.
And not surprisingly, it sounds like a piece in a big system.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's definitely part of it. But yeah, constantly learning, and I have some amazingly clever, talented, creative clients that they're doing stuff that I'm like, holy dooly, I can't believe I get to work with you. So
Oh,
that's
that's
really,
fantastic.
really amazing. Like, obviously I know what I'm doing, but they know what they're doing in their own right. So I pick up all sorts of tips and ideas from all my different clients and push them out into the world. So
Oh, that's wonderful. Well,
yeah,
thank you so much. Whitney, where should people connect with you?
Instagram. I
Mhm.
know I've got a website and I've got LinkedIn, I've got all of that, but I love Instagram. So if you want to find me, lava.virtual over on Instagram is me. Yeah, jump into my DMs and say hello. I love it. And
Awesome.
yeah, hopefully I can meet some interesting new people.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for your time today. It's been such a lovely chat.
Thanks for having me. It was so good.
Pleasure. And everyone else, I look forward to talking to you again soon. That's a wrap on another episode of Ready, Set, Paid Ads. If you're looking for done-for-you services, training to upskill you in ads management, or free and paid resources to help you plan and execute better ads, head to wiseupmarketing.com.au. If you've loved this episode, be sure to subscribe for future episodes. And if you know someone that would love this podcast too, go on and share it.